Right then, welcome back to the channel. My name is Stephen Howson, and this is 5 reasons why Manchester United have appointed Ten Hag to be our new manager. In number 1, the rebuild. United are in a dire need of a rebuild. There are players from every manager, including Sir Alex Ferguson, currently littering the squad. This needs changing. This needs clearing out. This needs someone to be able to put their imprint on it. You look at the most successful teams in English football at the moment: Chelsea, Manchester City, Liverpool. See where most of the players in those starting 11 come from. I'm not sure any of them have got players that have been here for 10 or more years. And certainly the manager that is at the helm at the moment is responsible for a large portion of those signings. Maybe not so much with Tuchel, as he's quite new, but Chelsea have spent a lot of money on that squad and have got some serious depth to it. United need players who are going to play the way Ten Hag wants them to play, and he's going to need to sign those players because I think the age profile of a lot of the squad means that they're not going to learn new tricks. Some of the youngsters, well, maybe they will. But for the most part, I think a lot of that is going to have to be signed. Ten Hag proved at Ajax that he can rebuild a team and win a league, and this is exactly what his remit is going to be at Manchester United, albeit with a little bit of time. Hopefully, club builder Rangnick will help him out with that as well. Number 2, identity. Since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, United have either lacked identity or had an identity which wasn't in line with that of the football club historically. For example, Moyes' side, did they have an identity? It just didn't. Nothing, did it? Louis van Gaal's side was known for being boring, which is not really an identity that you want. Ten Hag's style of play is very much a style of play that fits the mould of both the Premier League and historically fits what Manchester United have typically been seen as. Aggressive, front foot, in attack and defence. Tuchel, Klopp, Pep all play pressing, possession sort of fashion of football, and it works in the Premier League. Ten Hag's system will work in the Premier League. The identities then should also work for Manchester United. And even if it takes a significant time to implement, a year to 18 months, it should work. It just is going to need a little bit of patience. Number 3, long-term vision. Linked with the identity, United have never given anything time to grow or flourish since Sir Alex Ferguson left. Fan base has got a lot of sway in that, although I'm not 100% sure how much the board listens to the fans. But there's patience needed from all quarters, I think. We know that the work that will be done from Ralph, from Ten Hag, etc. is going to be based on a long-term strategy, and therefore will need to be given time to reap the rewards. Anything with a long-term strategy is not going to yield immediate results. It's just, I know it's counterintuitive, but some people will think that that's the case. The Glazers seem to have realised that the only way United could be successful under their ownership is by, I hope, creating similar to what Liverpool have gone and created down at Anfield. Liverpool's success under Klopp took time. It wasn't immediate, and it was done by spending very wisely, making key signings, implementing them into the first team, and trusting and buying into totally the philosophy of the manager. They aren't going to spend like Chelsea or City do. They're just not going to do that. And when people go, you spent $1 billion. Okay, we have, and I'm not denying that we have. How much of that is on the football pitch? How much of that has been wasted? How many mistakes have been made but not replaced? And then you start to see what the drama is. Number 4, cheapskates. Every single man, woman and child on this planet is aware of how cheap the Glazers are, how they like to be what will get the maximum return. Rather than, we're competing against owners here. For whatever reason, the Newcastle owners, I'm sure, are going to just demand immediate, immeasurable success. Sheikh Mansour literally just only wants to be the best club in the world. Roman Abramovich, just sack it. Did you win the league this year? Just off you go. And Liverpool obviously trying to be the best that they can be on a little bit of a different budget to the other 3. Manchester United The questions being asked from the top in this football club are not, how do we become the best in the world? They're, how do we achieve the minimum target of getting into the top 4 so we can unlock that Champions League money without spending so much, or for the least amount of effort? You know, you can see their attitude to it when the lack of investment in Carrington, the lack of investment in Old Trafford, just the lack of investment in the backroom staff to make us a success. If you look at the way they've run their previous businesses, the way they've allowed shopping malls in America to just crumble, the writing was on the wall from minute one. This is what they do as businessmen. Ten Hag and Ralph have both been involved at clubs and rebuilds at clubs where they've had a little bit of money, but they haven't spent loads, and they certainly don't sign superstars. If the Glazers can get United Challenge again on the cheap, they'll be in dreamland. Personally, I don't care. I'd rather they went. But if we're stuck with them, I'd rather they find a way to be successful in spite of them. And this might be it. And to be honest, I'm sure they're aware of the protests. I'm sure they're aware of the discontent amongst the United fan base. And even though they can try and put up a bit of an iron front, I'm sure it gets to them at some point. And I'm sure if they could be just smart businessmen, yeah, rinse the club, but at least allow it to be successful, because that would quieten down a lot of the protest. Not all of it. It wouldn't completely go away, and there's going to be people that are opposed to your ownership no matter what. I'm one of them. But you would settle down the protest if you allowed us to look like you give a fuck about us being competitive on the pitch while you're having our asses. And I don't want to see the Glazers here any longer, but that might be what they've finally decided to try and implement is, can we be successful on a budget? And number 5, because he's good, man. It's important when answering this question that Ten Hag has been appointed to be the Manchester United manager because he's a good manager. And out there in world football, it seemed like United only had 2 candidates in mind. Maybe 3. Zidane laughed at us, I think. But when you look at Zidane, massively a name. Is he going to rebuild a squad? I can't say that he is. He was successful with a good squad, but doesn't mean he can rebuild a squad. When you look at the list of available names that are out there, in terms of ability of managers, which is very hard to determine because of the compounding factors that go into it, Ten Hag might be the best available candidate that was out there, which means Manchester United have done something good in appointing him. He achieved things at Ajax. He won titles. He retained titles. He got to the latter stages of the Champions League with a budget, dwarfed by Spurs, of all people. A squad rebuild, an attractive style of play. All of these things are things that he's achieved already. United want this. And that's why they've appointed Ten Hag. Let's hope they give him the keys to the kingdom and back him to the hilt, because if it doesn't work for him, we are shit out of ideas. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.